Hola, hola, hola. Ha, ¿cómo estás? Buenos días. I got some things in my mind today. I was scheduled to be on a podcast, and it didn't happen only because of technical difficulties. Imagine that. But I was going to bring some. I was going to bring some things to the table. Yeah, I was even wearing my pea cap. Because we were going to talk about pee. That was the original premise of the conversation, but I was going to bring a lot more to the table because, well, I don't know, I like to chase rabbits down rabbit holes. How about you? I do. There's some curious things going on in the world today, and if you're not paying attention, you might be thrown under the bus, maybe. I don't know. I want to talk about these things. There's so many things to pay attention to right now, like doggos. Doggos. These are my little protectors. They always got my back. And for this, I am grateful. And I want you to know that I got your back too, in the best way I know how. Now, we can talk about urine therapy. I'm always willing to talk about urine therapy because, well, I've been practicing it for 5.5 years now, and I have maintained perfect health as a result of it. And I've done a lot of things. I practiced in so many, like, massive levels. But anymore, all I do is just kind of drink my morning pee, and I take a couple of foot soaks a couple of times a month. That's about it. I keep my life simple. I keep my diet simple. I'm basically a vegetarian, although once in a while I might want to have some meat. It's not a big thing. I don't care. Yeah, there's things that I do that most people would agree with or disagree with, and, I really don't care either way. I don't base my life on what other people think, do, say, especially about me. It's none of my business what people think. So, I do urine therapy for my physical health. But I also practice mental health, emotional health. And if you don't understand how your body works in a physiological nature, you might want to do a little homework. Because whatever you think about, you bring about. And your heart has as much, if not more, connection to what your thoughts are, because you emotionally infuse. Also, your instinctual nature, your belly button. There's another brain down there, okay? There's a connector, okay? So you have your intuitive, your emotional, and your mental. And these three things all connect. And if you can keep them in some kind of alignment and some kind of balance, you're actually gonna do better, feel better. It's just the way it works. Now, I'm no scientist. I'm no guru. I don't make any claims. I don't. But I'm willing to do research. I'm willing to look at all sorts of options. I'm always curious about what I can learn every day. I get up at 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the morning. I have no schedule in that regard. But I do it because it's like Rumi. Rumi said, you know, when you wake up, don't go back to sleep. Because the messengers are coming in. And I trust that. I accept that. I believe that. And so I kind of roll with that. Okay, so I want to help people. This is my primary aim. If I had any aim at all, it is just to uplift humanity. You know, to bring love, light, healing energy to anyone and everyone who is, I don't know, accepting or interested or willing or, I don't know, whatever. It's up to you. And I don't take any prisoners. I don't choose to be derogatory. It's not my intent. Although I'm a sarcastic guy, because I think sarcasm is one of the higher forms of intelligence. And I'm not digressing right now. I'm not. Let's be clear. We have many different options or opportunities to improve our lives. We do. First and foremost, in my observation, in my experience, is what you think about, you bring about. So really, understand that the brain is the biggest muscle in the body. And if you don't exercise your brain in some way, you might miss a few things. The next is emotional. And when we trigger our mental with emotional, we may infuse it with, I don't know, hate, anxiety, depression. I've done all these things. I've had suicidal thoughts. Just a human in process. And life, like art, is just simply a process. We're always processing. And if you're not willing to process the process, you might miss some things. But there's more to it. It's not just mental, emotional, or intuitive, or instinctual. You want to look at your overall health. Now me, I've gone 5.5 years, no medications, none. I used to take handfuls 3 times a day because my body was in a turmoil. I was a train wreck. But then I learned about urine therapy, and after a little bit of study, I thought, what I got to lose? And I started transforming my life. It changed quickly. Within 10 days, I actually saw a difference. I felt the difference. And I quit all medications within 2 weeks. And I never turned back. I haven't taken not even an aspirin, anything, nothing. And I did a lot of protocols. I did a lot of enemas. I did body soaks. I did body rubs. I've done all of these things. I did turpentine. I did many ideas that people suggested to me that would be healthy choices. And some worked and some didn't. I just accepted the ones that did and I let go of the ones that didn't. But there's more to our health, okay? Now, I trust that our health is our wealth, okay? Our health is our wealth. But we have to own this shit, whether it's mental, emotional, intuitive, financial. These are all measurements of our well-being. Now look around you. I don't know what your circumstance is, but it's obvious. Something's not working. It's going down. Inflation is rising. Deflation is happening. Man, it looks by most of the forecasters that depression is coming. Now, there's a lot of reasons. You know, I'm not going to go through the laundry list on these elements because I only want to focus on what I am doing or what you are doing. How can you improve your life? I don't know. I have no idea. You have to consider what you're doing. But more importantly, consider who you're being. Now me, I accept the responsibility and the fact that I'm a human being. Not a human doing, not a human having, but a human being. And I've accepted this for a long time. You know, I've done many things. You know, I've got a resume, you know, that gives me like all sorts of kudos. And does it really matter? Not my observation or opinion. I don't really care. Who am I being now? Now, what I'd like to offer you is ideas for your consideration. Not up to me, up to you. These are ideas for your consideration. How can you have a better life? Well, there's a lot of people that are forming communities. And I subscribe to that. I accept that. I agree with that. And why are they doing that? Well, number one, to, I don't know, create a village, you know, to watch each other's back, to grow food. What a concept, okay? Let's think about this. How can we improve our lives to a point where we will be okay, regardless of how the shit hits the fan? How can we do this? Is it your stock portfolio? You know, is it your real estate? You know, is it those, like, cars you park in your driveway or the shoes you wear? Do you really think this is going to make a difference, improve your life? I don't know. That's a question. And here's the question. Are you willing to ask your question before you ask somebody else the question? And are you willing to answer the question that you ask yourself? Think about it. Most people are not willing to ask the critical questions to themselves. And if you're looking outside yourself, you might be looking in the wrong direction. It is an inside job. how we make a difference, how we improve our lives is really based on us, our individual commitment. Now, if I've done anything in my life, I've really done nothing. I've made more mistakes than I know how to count. I've had addictions. I've fallen on my face. I've injured myself mentally, emotionally, and physically so many times. That's amazing that I'm actually still alive. Now, why is that? There's only one element that I can offer, that I was willing to get up again. I was just willing to get up again. And I didn't care if I fell off that pony again. I didn't care if I hit another detour bridge out, Didn't matter. I'm still here. I know way more dead people than people that are alive. Family, peers, friends, associates. For a multitude of reasons, they're not here anymore. But I am. And I assure you, you'll have to kill me to stop me. And even if you kill me, I'm still not going to be dead. Ha, 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 ha. Joke's on you. That's the way it works. So I want to bring you other elements to this conversation. I'm not going to limit it to the things I just reasonably suggested. What about your financial health? What about that? Now, I've lived under the poverty line for decades. Decades. I raised a family below the poverty line. I lived in a van. I lived in a tent. I lived in the desert. I traveled around the country, just figuring out how I'm going to put the next tank of gas in. And that's when gas was like $2. But I found some things. I've discovered some things. And there are opportunities that I'm happy to share with you. I am. Now, what you decide to do with this information is totally up to you. I don't have it won't make any difference to me what you choose. Trust me on that. I've already made my choice, my decision. Now, one of them is ONPASSIVE. Now, ONPASSIVE has been in development for a number of years, more than 3 years now. And they're a high-tech company creating products organically, originally, creating their own datas and centers. And it's really quite fascinating, amazing. With a multitude of product options that are actually going to put the technological world kind of on its head. Meaning, you can take big companies, ones that are billion, trillion dollar companies, Google and Amazon and, whoever, Facebook. Now, they started with one product, and what they did is bought other companies. They just bought them. What ONPASSIVE has done is created organically. They created their own version with their own technicians and built it from the ground up. And I'll guarantee you, ONPASSIVE is going to rock the world. It's going to put people on their, attention. It'll become a household word, trust me. It won't take long. Just like Google or IBM or Facebook or Starbucks or anything else. You're going to know about ONPASSIVE. You will. And after all these years of development, the window is about to close for founders. There's 1,300,000 founders right now. And as of June 22nd, which is, 7 days, 8 days from now, that window will close. You will miss your opportunity to become a founder. And that's okay. You can become a customer or reseller or whatever, and you'll still be able to participate. It's not like you will be excluded. But the founders have a unique position and a privilege that I'm grateful for personally. Yeah, personally, I'm grateful I'm a founder. And I followed. I've been in well over a year, and patient and observing, and I follow. But it's ramping up. This is getting really awesome. Now, there's another one that I was introduced to only a couple of months ago. Now, this is another whole thing, and there's similarities, but they're not the same. The other is DECENTRA. It's based on the word DECENTRA, which means decentralization. Now, what's required to become a part of DECENTRA is, number one, you have to create a Bitcoin wallet. Now, why is that? Why would you want to create a Bitcoin wallet? Well, in all my research, all my study and everything I look at, there's two asset management ideas that are really actually the most powerful that you can consider if you are really interested in developing a financial asset management. One is Bitcoin and the other is gold. Now, certainly there's some certain stocks or bonds. There's certainly real estate and other options, but everything I've learned in my own research is that it is suggestive that Bitcoin and gold are two asset managements that have the most security. Now, a lot of people don't understand this stuff, and certainly I'm not an expert or a guru, trust me on this. But what I've learned by paying attention and studying as much as I can is that regardless with Bitcoin, whether it goes up or down, it's still around. It's not going anywhere. And it is a peer-to-peer. It totally bypasses the banks, the governments, whoever. And right now, well, people will look at it and they go, oh, Bitcoin's crashing. Oh, look at it. It's now under 30,000. Yeah, exactly. This is the time to buy Bitcoin. Because the forecasters suggest that it might go up to 100,000 by the end of 2022. Now, would you want to wait around and buy Bitcoin when it's $100,000 or on the rise? Or when it's sitting right now around, 29 or something, $29,000 a coin? When it really came about, they were selling it for like 10 cents a coin in 2009. Can you imagine? If you had the foresight and the wisdom to make that investment and just buy up like $100 in Bitcoins, you would have had 100 Bitcoins. which, in simple math, that would be worth like, I don't know, what, $300,000 right now? Something like that. So what I'm offering you, it's just considerations. Whatever you choose to do is up to you. It's not up to me. It's not my job. What you choose to do is up to you. Now me, I've lived below the poverty line for a long time, and I'm still here. And I mean way below the poverty line based on America. I've just recently been talking to people in Pakistan, Gambia, which is in Africa if you don't know. I talk to people around the world because they reach out to me. I get 20 or 30 requests for friends weekly. I don't know. What makes me so special? I still scratch my head and wonder. But there's people that live on less than $1 a day, and they feed families. Now me, I'm going to do everything I know how to raise the frequency and raise the vibration. In the words of Ralph Smart. If you don't listen to Ralph Smart on Infinite Waters Diving Deep, you might want to listen. And there's others I listen to. I listen to a lot of people. I subscribe to hundreds of channels, and I listen to a lot of things on purpose to see what I can learn today. I just want to see what I can learn because I know nothing. Aristotle, if there's one thing I know nothing. And I'm okay with that. I enter every new day in the same way, like a child. Talk to me like I'm 6 or 5, see what I can learn. I'll wake up with enthusiasm and curiosity and a sense of wonder. I was privileged to have amazing parents and a grandmother who I loved dearly, and her name was Alice. And Alice died when I was 6, first dead person I ever saw. But by the time I was 5, she taught me things, kind of pearls of wisdom. And what did I learn from Alice? 1, it's way better to be looked over than overlooked. It's better to be a smart ass than a dumbass if you're going to be an ass and all. If you have a problem, build a bridge and get over it. And if you burn your ass, you're going to sit on the blister. My grandma Alice died of a massive heart attack at 56 years old after freaking out and yelling at my step-grandfather, who was kind of a belligerent asshole, in the middle of their flower shop in front of my mother. There's some trauma to work out. And we are all faced with trauma. Anybody who doesn't have trauma is living in denial, and they'll lie about other things too. So the sooner we accept this, we might correct some things in our own lives, like some of our addictions. Addictions come in many forms. It could be, well, in my case, it was sex, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol. But it could be shopping, it could be gambling. It could be so many things. Addiction comes in many forms. But most are derived from trauma. That's where they come from. Now, we're living in a really interesting time. You know, it's crashing and burning. It's just amazing to watch. You know, we're now in a woke. It's so woke. What in the fuck does that mean? Does woke have anything to do with awakening? You know, we're living in a matrix. It's a grand illusion. We're either going to move from this third dimension to the fifth dimension. We're either moving from the Piscean to the Aquarian, or whatever other science that people want to apply. I'm willing to consider all of it. I look at everything. And I don't position myself as any one absolute about anything except my integrity, my character, my principles, and my morals. These things are not for sale. I don't compromise them. I don't negotiate them. Ever. Ever. So I've been watching lately, and this is something I'm going to leave you with. Something that I wrote down. When I write things down, it can get scary. So let me read this to you, and I'm going to close on this. Society has become a cereal aisle, like walking through a grocery store in the cereal aisle. Okay? You got Fruit Loops, Cocoa Puffs, Corn Flakes, Special KKK, Count Dracula, Fruity Pebbles, and Frosted Flakes. But really, aren't we all animal crackers? You know, different, but actually the same. You ever eaten animal crackers? In the little box, I loved them as a kid. They had different shapes and, you know, elephants and giraffes and all that shit. But they were all the same. And isn't that true about all of us? I used to be different, but now I'm the same. Imagine that. Let's connect. If you want information from me, I encourage you. Reach out to me. I'm always available. I actually talk to people all over the world, in every continent. People reach out to me. If you want information, whether it's about urine therapy, DECENTRA, ONPASSIVE, your mental health, your emotional health, whatever, I'm always willing to have an open conversation, a dialogue, with loving support to encourage you to be the best person that you can possibly be. And with that, my friends, know that I love you. I do. Unconditionally, always, absolutely. I have no room for judgment. That is not my job. So, peace. Boom. You've just been loved. Ciao, ciao, ciao. With love, it is done.